I grew up in Seattle and I love this city. In fact, I think it's probably one of the prettiest cities in the world. One of the things I love about it is, we've got all the great sporting venues, we've got the beautiful buildings. Behind me is the Smith Tower, also the Columbia Tower. I always felt since I was like a little kid that I should own the Smith Tower. Somebody told me recently that they're going to make condos in the Smith Tower, and I think I might actually have to look into that because I think it'd be incredible living in my childhood dream. Buildings have always been important to me. I love architecture. I mean, when I go on vacations, that's part of what I really look for is cool buildings. I've been to Europe and looked through castles. I've been to major cities and gone through some of the most beautiful, buildings in the world. And I love buildings because buildings in and of themselves, they're not really all that important, but they express creativity and they also have people inside of them. And I think one of the cool things about any building is that when you look at it, you kind of get the idea that there's activity, there's a buzz, there must be something going on inside of that building. The Bible talks about us being a nation, it talks about us being a city, it talks about us as though we're this gigantic team of people. In one place it actually says that we're his body and he's the head of the body. The whole idea is that it's not just supposed to be something, but it's supposed to be a living thing. I think the whole idea when I look at a building, the thing that probably turns me on more than anything else about it, is it just means to me that there are people on the inside, in a sense, bringing that building to life. And the same thing is true with church. It isn't the building, with the stained glass and this and all the great architecture, although I love great architecture and I love our building, but it's what's going on the inside of that building that really counts. All of the people, the buzz, the stuff that really matters, that makes a church a church. Just because it's a building, whether it's fancy or whether it's just, a couple of, lean-tos with a roof on the top. I was in Africa speaking to the largest church in Kenya, and it literally had 20,000 members, and it was a tin hut. And yet they were having just as much church as any church in America would be having. Why? Because inside of that place, there was activity, there was life, there was stuff going on that impacted, that made a difference. And so whether it's a beautiful building downtown, whether it's a church building in the middle of the country, or some church in another country, I really believe what makes something incredible, what makes a building awesome, whether it's a church or whether it's just a building for business, it's still the same. Real people inside of that building doing real things to impact real lives, and in a sense, they make that building come alive. And my prayer for us is that we would never just be a church, but we would be a church that's alive, where when people come in, they forget about the building. And they all of a sudden come into this culture, to this arena, to this place where there are real people doing real things to affect real lives.